Hello, BookTube. It's Joshua here, and I'm going to be doing a kind of general update. I'm going to be talking about some different things. First, I want to show you two books that I got in the mail, and then I want to talk about what I've been reading and also what I'm going to read. So firstly, yeah, I'll show you the two books. These are both by someone from BookTube, someone on BookTube. Uh, I got Against Fascism, Poems of Resistance and of Dissent by David Novak, and then his other poetry book, Amplitude and Dispersion. And well, David has been writing poems against Donald Trump and what's happening in America right now for the past couple of months, and he collected it recently and put it into a book. So I bought it, and then I also figured I might as well buy another book, one of his earlier books, and just try it out. So yeah, these just came in the mail today, and I'm excited to read them. And yeah, I figured I would just show them to you, and I'll link his channel as well. And I'm sure if you go to his channel, you'll be able to find his Lulu account where you can buy these. Uh, but next, I want to show you what I have been reading. Uh, I spent about a week, or maybe 8 to 10 days, reading the Agony and the Ecstasy by Irving Stone. Um, and so yeah, that was what I did pretty much for the past week, and this was um, a historical novel about Michelangelo. It was about 800 pages. I read it on my Kindle, as I seem to be doing more and more recently. And it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. Uh, I mean, I could tell that it was very heavily researched, that Irving Stone put in a lot of work to conjure up the world of the Italian Renaissance. And I haven't read, very soon I would like to read an actual Michelangelo biography and compare that with this novel to see to see what differences there are. I don't really know how accurate I don't really know how accurate the book is, or whether Irving Stone made any changes, or how many changes he made. But yeah, the book itself was really amazing. It goes from Michelangelo's uh, early life, when he's 13, until he dies at the age of 89, and it was really really good. I loved the way that Stone describes the process of Michelangelo making his statues and his paintings, and Saint Peter's and all that. Um, I think that Stone does a really good job of imagining what was going on through Michelangelo's head as he was doing these things. And interestingly, actually, as I was reading it, I suddenly had a desire to start reading the Bible, because a lot of what Michelangelo was making, of course, had biblical themes, and when Stone was reimagining the process of reimagining the thought process of Michelangelo as he was making them, he was dealing with a lot of the biblical stories and talking about them in really really interesting ways, and so that made me want to go back to the Bible, which I haven't done yet, but maybe I'll try to do that sometime this summer. Uh, but yeah, I mean, overall the novel was amazing. Um, what else can I say? It it was also very sad, and kind of, yeah, it was also sad because following Michelangelo for that long a time, um, pretty much all of the characters that Michelangelo forms connections with at the beginning of the story, they all die. There's that bit of sadness there, and yeah, I just think as a whole, the Stone did a really amazing job. It's really well written, and also now I really want to learn more about the Italian Renaissance, and so this leads me into the next book. I said earlier in the video that I haven't read a Michelangelo biography. Well, I haven't read a full length one, but I did just read a very short one about the end of Michelangelo's life, and this is called Michelangelo, God's Architect by William Wallace. And so this was a biography covering the last 17 years, I think, of Michelangelo's life. from the point where he was commissioned to build St. Peter's until his death at the age of 89. And I heard about this book from John David, who's a booktuber here, and I'll link his channel. And he gave it a glowing recommendation, I think a couple of months ago, and I read it, and I was not disappointed. It was very good. Um, it, it deals a lot with Michelangelo, um, being an old man and dealing with, well, kind of like what I said earlier in Stone's novel, dealing with all of his friends dying, with multiple generations of friends dying, and being kind of pessimistic and despairing, but also turning to his belief in God for comfort. And entwined with that is his effort to build St. Peter's, which he viewed as being God's work, as being devoted to God. And that is a pretty moving sentiment. Yeah, so I thought it was a pretty moving book, and I enjoyed it a lot. It also it's one of those nonfiction books, or it's one of those biographies where the biographer isn't as scholarly, or isn't as dry as some other biographers might be. William Wallace takes the time to fill in the blanks, say, around the historical details that we have. For example, he would, in one part of the book, he conjures what it was like to live in Rome, and kind of what the day-to-day life would have been like. Even if he's not drawing on actual evidence, he's kind of helping the reader imagine what kind of world Michelangelo was living in. And I like that kind of approach to history and biography. It was a similar one as Thomas B. Costain's approach, when in his I can't remember the title of the book that I read by him, but he wrote about English history, and Costain did a very similar thing, where where Costain gives you more novelistic paragraphs at times. And so I liked that. And then now after finishing that, I've just started another biography of someone else in the Italian Renaissance. And I think if you've read the Agony and the Ecstasy, you'll probably understand why I picked up a biography of this figure specifically. I'm reading Magnifico by Miles J. Unger. And so this is about Lorenzo de Medici, who famously found Michelangelo, or I don't know the exact details, but he found Michelangelo as a young boy, and I guess saw the potential in him, and kind of I don't know, allowed Michelangelo to flourish artistically. In other words, he developed a relationship with Michelangelo when the artist was a young man. And the figure of Lorenzo de Medici in the Agony and the Ecstasy is really wonderful. He as a character, he's really something special in that novel. And so now I'm getting to find out what he was like in fact as well, in history. I've only just started it. I'm on the second chapter, so I won't be able to tell you guys much right now. But I will say that already I can tell it's so well written. I'm already captivated. So I can't wait to finish that. So yeah, that is my sudden random entry into the Italian Renaissance, or into certain biographies about the Italian Renaissance. And next I'll talk about what I'm going to read in the future. I'm going to keep on reading Magnifico, but I'm also going to on Friday I'm going to start reading Dune Messiah by Frank Herbert. And I'm going to be doing a buddy read with Frank, who's one of my commenters, who frequently comments on my videos here, and we're gonna read Dune Messiah. And I created a Storygraph account, which I made some posts about as well. I created one so that I could do the buddy read with him, And so yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that because I liked Dune by Frank Herbert a lot as well. And then also I wanted to ask you guys for advice because I'm hoping to, or I want to read some science fiction for Rocket Summer this July, but I don't really know where to start. I'm really a newbie when it comes to science fiction. I've read Dune, and I've read some science fiction short stories, in an anthology, but that's more modern science fiction. And for Rocket Summer, I believe it's only vintage science fiction. So I have one book here that would qualify for the event, and that is the Science Fiction Hall of Fame edited by Robert Silverberg, and I think voted on and chosen by the members of the Science Fiction Writers of America. So all of these guys here, all of these big names, and so I'm considering at least reading some of this, or maybe trying to read all of it in the month of July. It's about 550 pages. I saw this. I've seen Pat, Book Chat with Pat, talk about this a lot in her videos. And I didn't realize I had it until today. I didn't realize that I have the same volume as her. But just I think it's an older edition. Because the reprint has a silver and black one, and this is like a much older design, and it's kind of falling apart. But yeah, so I have this. But also, I'll be honest, I'm not much of a fan of short stories. I kind of prefer novels because I like the feeling of being immersed in something and really diving into something, and I don't quite get that feeling with short stories. Uh, and so, I mean, maybe I'll read this for Rocket Summer, but I kind of want your guys' advice because I don't really know where else to start if I want to if I want to read novels for science fiction for Rocket Summer. Um, yeah, I don't really know what would be a good place to enter into. And so I'm wondering if you guys have any recommendations, or if not, that's fine too. And I'll just maybe I'll email Steve, or I could look at. A lot of the co-hosts for Rocket Summer gave some recommendations, and I could look at some of those books and pick some up from there. But yeah, I don't really know. I want to read science fiction, but I don't know much about the genre. Um, so yeah, but beyond that, I don't really have much more to talk about. Um, and yeah, so I'll say goodbye then. Thank you, BookTube, for watching.